Throughout this series, we visited Dom John Antiques and watched how an NPC named Morton goes about his day and his interaction with customers. In this video, we will look at how bringing everything in this series together will finally yield a realistic NPC like Morton. In the following story snippets, we are going to look closer at how the type of behavior described can be achieved using simple systems.
The brass bell above the door jingled as Morton Hargrove unlocked his antique shop at precisely 8 a.m, just as he had done 6 days a week for the past 27 years. Downtown West was still waking up around him, but Morton had already been awake for hours, savouring his morning coffee, newspaper at home, before walking the 3 blocks to Dom John Antiques. He flipped the sign to open and moved through his morning ritual, checking the register, dusting the more delicate items, and positioning the ornate Victorian floor lamp he'd acquired last week to catch the morning light through the front window. The shop was a carefully curated maze of history, Art Deco jewellery displays nestled beside Civil War-era photographs, mid-century modern furniture arranged next to shelves of antique books with cracked leather spines.
Morton's behavior is driven by a state tree that first checks if a scheduled action exists from the time-aware component. If an action is set, like open shop, the state tree executes that behavior. If no action is specified, the system defaults to the idle state, which then evaluates Morton's character quirks to determine an appropriate behavior. This creates naturalistic fallback behaviors that reflect the NPC's personality, rather than having them simply stand still when not actively tasked.
The brass bell above the door jingled, and Morton looked up to see Eleanor Whitfield, one of his most loyal clients. She was clutching a small wooden box to her chest, her usually composed demeanour betrayed by an anxious energy. "Eleanor, what a pleasant surprise," Morton called out, setting down his polishing cloth. "It's been, 3 weeks since your last visit?" "4 actually," Eleanor replied, approaching the counter. "I've been away visiting my sister in Oakridge, but I found something unusual at an estate sale there." She placed the wooden box on the counter with careful reverence. Morton adjusted his wire-rimmed glasses and leaned forward. The box was roughly the size of a paperback novel, crafted from dark walnut with intricate inlays of lighter wood, forming geometric patterns along its edges.
The dialogue subsystem coordinates conversation between NPCs using gameplay tags to track conversation state. When Morton engages with a customer, the system identifies appropriate dialogue options based on the conversation context. Morton's personality traits, particularly his social confidence value of 0.7, can influence which dialogue options are selected. Higher confidence values favor more detailed, elaborate responses, while his expertise in antiques further boosts responses that demonstrate product knowledge. In the example presented in Part 3, the social confidence was used to determine how quickly to reply in the conversation.
At precisely 1 p.m, Morton flipped his sign to back at 2 o'clock and locked the door. The 3-minute walk to Low Cafe was part of the pleasure of his day, a chance to feel the bustle of downtown West around him. He nodded to familiar faces, the florist arranging sidewalk displays, the harried postal worker making deliveries, a group of office workers in their lunch hour finery. At Low Cafe, they knew him well enough that his usual table by the window was waiting, as was his order: turkey sandwich on rye, pickle on the side, and black coffee. He ate methodically while reading a collector's magazine, occasionally making notes in the margins about pieces that might interest his regular clients. When he returned to his shop at 2 o'clock sharp, the afternoon brought different energy. A local interior designer brought a client looking for something with character for a downtown loft. Morton guided them to a set of industrial factory lights from the 1920s. Later, a college professor examined his collection of vintage maps, explaining they were researching the changing boundaries of downtown West for an urban studies course.
Let's see how all these systems work together by following Morten through part of his day. The time-aware component triggers OpenShop at 8 am. The state tree executes this action with Morten's personality influencing how he performs it. When no action is scheduled, he defaults to quirk-driven behaviors. When a customer enters, the AI perception interrupts his current task. His social confidence and core motivation influence dialogue and priorities. After the customer leaves, he returns to either pending scheduled actions or quirk-driven behaviors. This creates a character who feels consistent and believable without explicitly scripting each moment. Morten's behavior emerges from the interaction of his schedule and personality traits. The beauty of this system is its scalability. Once you set up the framework, you can create distinctive NPCs by simply defining different schedules, character quirks and motivations, and social confidence values. The same systems but wildly different characters. The key insight here is that we're separating what the NPC does, how they do it, and when they do it. This separation creates NPCs that feel consistent yet dynamic. As an indie developer, you don't have the resources to handcraft every NPC interaction. Systems like this let you create believable worlds where character behavior emerges naturally from a few well-defined traits and schedules. If you found this helpful, let me know in the comments. See you in the next one.